All right, today we're going to dive into a single, really powerful choice, one that actually shapes our entire mental world. It's a directive that presents two fundamentally different ways for us to think.
So let me just start by asking you a question. Have you ever stopped to think about where your thoughts really come from? I mean, are they truly your own? Or are they maybe just echoes of the world around you? That question, well, it's at the very heart of what we're talking about today.
And this right here, this single, profound statement is what our whole explainer is built around. And notice, it's not some gentle suggestion. It's a clear command with two totally opposite actions, a definitive start and a definitive stop.
So this one sentence basically lays out two distinct, competing paths for your mind. It kind of frames the whole thing as a conscious choice. You can walk one path, or you can walk the other.
And here's that choice broken down. On one side, you've got following the world. You can think of this as a passive mindset, kind of like you're on cruise control, just letting external forces shape you. On the other side, there's renewing your mind, which is all about being active, an intentional process of transformation. You know, it's the difference between being a sponge, just soaking up whatever's in your environment, and being a sculptor, consciously and carefully shaping your own mind. Now, to really get a grip on the start command, we first have to understand the stop command. What does it actually mean to stop following the world? Let's unpack that. What's interesting is, the source presents this not as some malicious, evil act, but more like the mind's default setting. It's mental autopilot. You know, it's the path of least resistance, where we just absorb our surroundings without giving it a whole lot of critical thought.
And this is what that autopilot looks like in practice, right? It's a mind that gets shaped by whatever the latest trends and opinions are. It's when you adopt cultural values without really questioning them. Your focus is on temporary material things, and you find yourself just reacting to external pressures instead of acting from some deep internal conviction.
So, if that's the state we're told to stop, then what's the alternative? Let's flip over to the start directive now, because this is where the active work really begins. The key word here is renewing. That little ing at the end is so important. It tells you this isn't a one-and-done kind of deal. You can't just flip a switch. The source presents it as this continuous, intentional process. Think of it like exercising a muscle. You need consistent practice to really reshape your patterns of thought.
So how's it done? Well, you can kind of see it in three stages. First, you have to acknowledge the old patterns. You see them, you identify them, and then you consciously hit the brakes. Second, you introduce the new model, the new blueprint you're going to work from. And finally, you intentionally practice this new way of thinking. You reinforce it over and over until it becomes your new default.
But this whole renewal process isn't just random. It has a very specific destination. So what is this blueprint it's aiming to create? What's the goal?
The source text points to the mind of Christ as the ultimate template. This is the model that entire active process of renewal is working toward.
But what does that really mean? Well, within this framework, it's defined as a way of thinking that mirrors the core values, the perspectives, and the priorities you'd find in the teachings of Christ. It's like a complete mental framework for how you engage with the world.
And just notice the direct contrast here with the mind that follows the world. I mean, it's night and day. Instead of being guided by external trends, this mind is guided by internal principles. Instead of a temporary focus, it's got an eternal perspective. The entire operating system shifts from just being reactive to being purposeful and intentional.
Okay, so we've explored two completely opposing directives, a stop and a start. So what's the ultimate takeaway from this powerful instruction? What's the bottom line?
Well, the contrast is just stark. Across every single feature, the source of your thought, the process, the focus, the goal, they are polar opposites. One path is basically a passive drift, just shaped by whatever culture you're in. The other is an active transformation, guided by principle.
And this all leads to the most crucial point of all. According to this directive, your mindset isn't fixed. It's not set in stone. It is the outcome of a continuous choice, a choice you make moment by moment between these two very distinct paths.
Which leaves us with one final reflective question. As you move through your day, which path is your mind paving?